I live in Sarnath, India, the place where the Buddha gave his first teachings, with a lot of Tibetan Buddhist monks and nuns. Every year people come from around the world to receive teachings from them and visit some of the holy sites in the area. Most of these people are fairly familiar with Buddhism, but they often come from Western countries where the Buddhism is a bit different from the traditional Tibetan variety. Last year we had people from the United States, Brazil, the Netherlands, Germany, Vietnam, Russia, Switzerland. They tend to have a fair amount of money. Taking a trip to India to see Buddhist sites is not cheap, and they tend to be fairly well educated. But Buddhism in Western culture is often used as something like therapy or self-help, whereas here it's about a different worldview. I wanted to help them have a common language to talk about this philosophy before they came, so I designed this Core of Tibetan Buddhism course. The information in this course was all checked by some monks. While there is eternal debate over the nuances of these ideas, in this simplified form it should all be correct. This course is not meant to get deep into the philosophy. It's mostly just teaching vocabulary. For example, the word emptiness in Buddhism has a very different meaning from its meaning in day-to-day English. If you misunderstand that word during a teaching, you're going to have a very different idea of what the teacher is saying from what they mean. For that reason, the objectives are quite simple. I want the students to be able to define the key words and recognize examples of these concepts. I split the course into 3 modules: the Wheel of Life, Emptiness, and Relative and Ultimate Truth, which they can take in whichever order they choose. Those are then broken down into individual words or concepts. Each idea has an audio lesson with closed captions, another written explanation, which explains the same word in a different way, and then a multiple choice comprehension check question. The training moves through each lesson within a module automatically. At the end of the module, there is a summative assessment, which goes over the same material. Each module also has some ungraded questions at the end, designed to provoke thought and connect the ideas to the students' own lives. There are 23 lessons, which is a lot of vocabulary, but with the audio lesson, the written explanation, the comprehension question, the summative assessment, and the open-ended questions, they are seeing the same thing over and over, so that should lead to a good retention rate. The whole thing should take maybe an hour or an hour and a half in total, though that can be broken up into 3 parts. This training is very simple because it is not meant to teach high-level thinking about these ideas. They don't need to write articles or do comparative philosophy. They just need to know what the monastics are talking about when they use words like grasping or interdependence and so on.